come to the beach. I also work in a pie shop. I'll get you some pie. And you can tell me about the view and I'll sing bass lines at you and we'll figure it
You
out.
will. I can't tell you just how much you'll regret asking me to talk about the view. I just, I know it sounds like I'm kidding, but I'm not. The chat, it's so nice to just see a new face, you know?
Yes.
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 All right, you go first. Do you want to go first? You go first.
I'll go first. Okay, hi Britta. It's so good to see you. My name's Kelsey. As you know, I use she, her pronouns. Right now, I'm in Vancouver, Kitsilano, which sits on the unceded territories of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh, and it's so beautiful. Lilac season, gorgeous times. I have done 2 seasons with the Paprika. Right now, I'm doing FCPA, creative facilitators and administrators and things. And before I did the productions program. And I think that's my intro. What about you, Britta?
My name's Britta. I use she, her pronouns. I'm currently in Toronto, Treaty 13 territory. And I'm a past Paprika participant many years ago now, but I did it for 3 years and we could, talk all about it.
Did you do the same thing each year? Were they consecutive? How did it roll out?
How did it roll out? I started in the creators unit. Does that still exist? I'm not up to date.
Yeah.
Creators. My first year in the creators unit was my first year of university, and I'd moved to Toronto, and I was so terrified, and I had no idea how to find community, and was just doing so much music theory every day, and wondering who I was meant to be. So yeah, I did the creators unit, and it was amazing. And then the following 2 years, I was a playwright in residence. So I developed first a show a show for young people, and then it was actually where Life After was born. The following was the first draft of Life After.
Come on. So cool.
Yeah, amazing. Life-changing, truly. It changed everything for me.
What do you remember from those years? Do you have like any images that stand out, or any people or any discoveries you made about yourself or your process?
Oh, so much. I mean, I think it was a transformational thing to be part of this program that is about process over product, you know? And I think that especially you can be in an arts education institution and you are delivered a kind of hierarchy about what good or bad art is and what you're supposed to become in order to be a working professional. And some of that's useful to build a toolkit, of course. I don't want to disparage it too much, and it's something I chose to do, but what Paprika offered was like space for, I was at classical music school and I didn't know how to live there, and I didn't know who I was there. And Paprika was this really safe space for me to continue to be a creator and continue to try to do the thing that I thought was probably the thing I wanted to do. But it wasn't that it was safe while still challenging me and while still inspiring me to be the very best I could be. But it's about process, and it was about community, and it was about creating spaces that were centered in community and storytelling that was centered in that. And I was just like, this is the kind of artistry I want to participate in. This is the life I want to have.
You have a project, you need to write it, and there's like that gap before you write it, that like how do you bridge that gap? How do you find your way in? Is it different all the time? Is there something that always happens? How do you find your way in when you got to write it?
Yeah, it's different all the time. I mean, how is it for you? What do you do?
Terror at first, I think. But I don't know, it depends. When I write music, sometimes I write music first, or sometimes I write text. If I'm writing text, I need a solid first line. I just need a way in, and then I'm in.
Yeah.
Okay, I know where I am. But until then, I'm like, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, there's no hard and fast rule, and truly it's a process of a great deal of pain and, eating too many pickles from my fridge and looking in my mirror at my pores. There's a lot of things that happen that aren't work, but yeah, I think that usually what I have to have and for me, I'll not work for so long until it becomes a crisis. If I don't start working, it'll be a huge problem. So I have to back myself into a corner, and then I have to actually kind of save space for myself to write badly. Usually my way of unlocking a song is to try to write a bad song, actually. And that's the only way. I think if we're too precious, like I can all
Mhm.
you always forget the process of songwriting. You only remember the product, and you forget about the awful
Yeah.
shapes it takes to get there. You forget about the 10 bad songs you write on the way,
Yes.
the 20,000 hooks that don't work. So
Uh,
I always have to kind of like, if I'm just comparing it to a finished product and I'm thinking craftsmanship first and I'm thinking form first, it's not going to happen.
uh.
I have to kind of like create a I have to make it that it's essential that I start or else I'll be fired. And then I have to make it so that like um it's a very kind and forgiving environment I'm creating for myself to write something very, very bad.
Mhm.
And usually I'll write something very, very bad. And then within that bad thing is actually something that might be the
Yeah.
heart of the thing, you know?
Oh,
If I try to intellectualize it
no,
or start at the end, it doesn't work.
nothing kills
But
me.
usually I just cry a lot. Like I don't know, I'm talking like I have some kind of process. I no, it's a night.
Yes, yes. I'm working on a project right now, and my station was like chips, kombucha, gum, many things, and sadness. But
Sadness, a lot of sadness.
I just got an image. I don't know when this. You were at Sheridan playing in the Writers' Cabaret. I don't know, for Trapdoor actually. And I remember you played this beautiful song from I don't know what, but it was like a standalone song that you wrote as like an assignment for some kind of training, something, which maybe you could speak
Yeah.
about that. But also it makes me curious if you have any of these like mistakes or one-off or like that you like still love, but are like not full-fledged things. And if you want to bring any of those into this space.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's a whole graveyard of unfinished songs that that go with any finished song for me.
Yes.
And sometimes like something my sister and I are often writing partners and we'll often like if usually when procrastinating, like listen through some old voice memos and be like, that was a really good idea. Oh, that was really nice. Like thing that never came to be.
Yes.
Usually if the song stays in my head, like it means that it might be enough of
Mhm.
a thing to write. And usually the ones that don't work kind of fade away, go back to the air to go into someone else's brain. Who knows how music works? Uh, but yeah, definitely. There's a huge pile of unfinished ideas and motifs, and my voice memos on my phone is just
Yeah.
it's like if no one can ever listen. It's a horrible place of very bad hooks. Yeah.
I love it though. Oh, and sometimes they feel so good though when you're like, this is great. This is genius. And then after,
Sometimes if it feels too good, it means it might be bad because it's probably pretty indulgent. Like the
yeah,
ones where it's like 2 in the morning and I'm at the piano, like gently weeping. That's not going to be a good song. That's a bad song. No one wants to hear that song. But my
yeah,
neighbor has heard it. So
yes, and it feels so good to play. I definitely have some songs that I just sing when I need to be feeling the feelings, but nobody needs to hear it beside me.
totally. It's important to have those songs. I think we all have those songs that we play when we're alone in our house to just be like, aren't I something? Listen to these feelings I've felt. Woo!
Yeah, depth, the depth. I love this question. What is the worst piece of advice you've ever been given?
Mm, oh, that's really I don't know if it's advice, but one of like sometimes I feel like at art school you're just you're, like your class is just in the opinion of your professor. You're just studying their opinion,
Yes.
and so there's
Yeah.
some kind of outlandish things that I remember my like very first counterpoint class at school. He kind of said declaratively like, "I believe there's such thing as a good singer and such thing as a
Oh,
good songwriter. The greatest myth we've bought into is that there's such a good thing as a good singer songwriter." And I was like, what planet are you from? Have you never listened to Joni Boy? Do you have a heart? What's anyway? But you know, when you're like 18, I guess it's just that I'm wrong and I make trash art and I
yes.
have cheap taste. I really like, I remember walking home from that class being like,
Oh,
maybe I'm a fool. And that's just now I look back on that statement and I can't believe that that's one of the most bananas things I've ever heard.
yes. Yes. I I had a teacher who told me, "Oh, you're just not a singer. Like, it's okay. You got lots of skills. You're just not a singer." And I was like, "Okay." You know, I'm 18. I'm like, "Okay, that makes sense. Sure."
Yeah, you can say that to me for
What?
sure. That's, yeah, outlandish. But it's okay. Everyone can, no, you are a singer, so they were wrong.
Britta, you're a great singer-songwriter. You're a great singer-songwriter.
Thank you so much. You know what? I'm still singing and writing songs, but I don't remember anything from that counterpoint class. So I guess I won in the end. Maybe they'd make my songs better, but
Yeah.
who cares? Yeah.
Tell me about like people who influence you or artists who influence you, like who accompanies you in your influences as you're making work.
That's a really good question. Oh, I don't, like, the list is so long. Whatever I'm listening to at the moment,
Mhm.
my collaborators. I think my sister's just the best songwriter in the world, so I love writing with her. Stephen Sondheim and Joni Mitchell really are the ones I go back to over and over. But also, Crystal Pipe and like,
Mm,
just, I don't know. That's a really hard question.
it is a hard.
Um, Once in an interview, I said my greatest influence was Victor Borga, who's a piano playing comedian, and then it got published, and I regretted that. And here I am saying it again. He's not my greatest influence. Edit that out. Edit that out. Who's your greatest influence? Like, what are your influences?
Oh, I don't know. It's hard. I see what you mean. The moment you say it, you're like, oh, don't put that in print. I don't know. But
Yeah.
I'm thinking when I was in high school, I went to I don't know if you know the poet Shane Koitzen, like this spoken word poet who's like really rhythmic and really exciting. And I went to this concert in this tiny theater, and he like had a violinist who was like looping music and like a choir of people and was like just doing poetry. And there's this huge audience of people who were wrapped in this like music, poetry, skin tingling. And I'm so drawn to that again. I'm like, oh, the power of like words ricocheting off each other, ricocheting off of music, like something about that in all its combinations. I'm like, yeah, like what is that?
Yeah.
What is that?
There is, I don't know any magic greater than like when text and music are together exactly. When you like, when the
Mhm.
song feels like it's existed forever and it's the only way you could say this thing.
Yes.
There's no greater magic, I think, that I found
Mm-hmm.
on earth. So I feel that, but it's hard to boil it down to influences because,
Oh, I know.
everywhere, everything, songwriters,
Yes,
people, I don't know, whatever is in my ears and whoever I'm talking to,
I
my
feel
friends are one of my
yes,
greatest
yes.
influences, because they
Mm-hmm.
really shape how you take in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I feel like things just show up when you're writing, especially when you are using words, like all these things that have just been piling in your subconscious just just end up. In some ways I'm like, oh, it's almost like a time capsule. The work you do at a certain time is, for me, indicative of what was happening, what I was thinking, who I was with.
Yeah, who were you with? What's their speaking style? What music were you listening to? What movie had you just seen? I don't know.
Mhm.
It's a hard question. I didn't answer it. Well,
No,
anyway, but it's a hard question.
well, the
Yeah.
answer is great. And it makes me think about, like, you've been working on Life After for so long, through so many phases of life. Is that strange to be interacting with it at so many different times?
Yeah, big time. It's like,
Mm,
I mean, also I'm used to finishing a project and it gets put up and that's it. So
yeah,
this kind of
yeah,
way of like, you think it's done and then you have another production. It's a privilege. Like, it's amazing we've gotten to do
yes,
it so many
yes.
times. But like that feeling of like back to the drawing board, and every set,
Mhm.
every theater, every director has a different, slightly different idea about what it's going to be, and you want to collaborate with that and learn from that. It's a hard process to take something that you think is done and kind of pull a string and not pull it apart. And it is also
Yeah.
really the trickiest balancing act of it is that I did write it when I was still a teenager, and it's about a teenager. And the fact that I was a teenager and it's about a teenager, I think is a strength in it. I think that means that it taps into something that might feel true for people, but So sometimes I have to be careful to not let like grown-up Britta come in and like write that out of, you know,
Mhm.
like use wisdom that maybe I have no idea I have about what grief
Uh,
is, that this character wouldn't know, uh, is a challenging thing while still wanting to make it richer and better, and letting the some of the characters that aren't quite like in the pocket yet like come to life. How do I want to do that without compromising the thing that I think is the thing that makes the show work? Maybe, who knows what makes the show
mhm,
work, but it might be that it came from a place that felt very honest for me at that point in my life.
mhm, mhm. Yeah, so neat. And that piece
Yeah.
is all you, like all of it came out of you. What a birth.
Yeah, I mean it did, but also you know the way it is to work, and specifically on musicals, like definitely I've been its CEO forever, but like it's got a lot of other people in there. So I can't take credit
Yeah.
for all of it. Although I will get credit for all of it, and great, I'll take it.
Oh, I had this question about what is the scariest thing you've ever done that was worth it? It doesn't have to be theater related, but what's the scariest thing you've ever done that was worth it?
Like probably writing Life After, if I'm honest. Like
Mm.
uh probably. I don't take a lot of physical risks. I wish I could say it was like climbing that cliff or going on a water slide. No, I don't do that. But I do think that like definitely writing that show changed my world, and Paprika is where it began, and it was
Mm.
through the encouragement of my mentors in Paprika that I even did. Like before that, I was writing. I wanted to be like a comedy writer. Like I like to write sketches
Oh,
and like funny tongue in cheek songs was kind of my like I was like I'm so clever and I'm 16 was like really my vibe. And I remember it was like I wrote one song from Life After that was just a standalone, and someone I don't know, someone was like, this might be a new muscle for you to try. Like, what if you let us in a little bit deeper with your songs that you have? And it really changed my world. And now all I write are sad songs. So probably taking that leap was important for me.
I love that. The legacy of Paprika introduced you to sad songs, started you on a beautiful journey.
It kind of became my thing.
If you could go on a residency right now, creative residency, they're paying much money to do it. There's no COVID. It's anywhere in the world, and anybody's there, and the food is amazing. Where are you going? Who are you working with? What are you eating?
That's such a hard, your questions are so hard. Honestly, I just want to go into my friend's house. So I don't know how to answer that. Oh, if I could go anywhere, I'd just go around the corner and sit inside.
Yes.
Mm, like I've gone to Banff once and it rocked my world, and I can't wait to go back there. I love being in New York City. Obviously, it's a very basic answer for a music theater writer, but wow,
Yeah.
it's an exciting place. And there's so many collaborators down there that I miss, so like that I've gotten to work with on Life After
Mhm.
specifically, who I miss so much, and I just like can't wait till we're all in a room again and making something new.
Mm.
Who's there? I don't know who's there. My family, who I haven't hugged in here. No,
Yes, yes.
lots of really good foodie and like
Yeah.
really good musicians. That's where maybe
Oh,
Banff, surrounded by like with like Lynn Shankel, who's with the orchestrator, who I love, and she's there, and we're making beautiful music together. Maybe.
I love that. Um, Makes me want to ask, like, what's in the people that you like to work with, or who, like, what's writing in a collaborator for you? Like, what makes you be like, ah, zing, 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 magic, magic, magic.
Yeah, I think it's like who I'm not who I'm deeply inspired by but not afraid of, you
Mm,
know.
mhm,
Where like we collectively, whatever our vibe is, creates like a completely forgiving and safe space where we like really encourage each other to laugh at ourselves, and you yeah, and finding a good collaborator is like the very thing. It's like meeting a soulmate. It's so exciting, and I really believe in keeping your collaborators close. Like
mhm,
uh, I tend to like working with the same people over and over again, but that's because like songwriting is a very vulnerable, bizarre thing. And when you work with someone who speaks your language, it's just like amazing. And sometimes you can like try to collaborate with someone who you really, really, really respect, whose work you really respect,
Yeah.
and maybe you can't get like it just can't make each other feel safe enough to get weird enough to write together, you know. But I
Mhm.
don't know what the rule is. Just safety, comfort, and inspiration. I don't know. I'm talking a lot every
I
time
know.
I interview
I
this.
love it so much.
Yeah.
It's
What do you think makes a good collaborator?
oh, I think the same things. Yeah, it's so vulnerable and so many ideas and like it's so hard. You do so much work just to have a draft of this silly song that's not that great. Like it's so much work. So I love that. The joy, the humor, the excitement of new ideas. I love being in a process where someone's like, "Well, what if it's this?" And you're like, "Okay, maybe that means it could be this." And you're like, "Okay." Someone's like, "I don't know how we do it, but let's try it. Let's see what happens."
Mhm. Yeah.
I love it.
And I think sense of humor is very important because I think even when
Mhm,
you're working on something that isn't necessarily funny, actually like coming at it from a place of like of joy and
mhm.
being able to laugh at yourself is actually still the only way you're going to get at the meat of that. I think in my world, if I'm not laughing, if I'm taking too seriously, it's very bad.
No, no, if yeah, working in that like elite space, I'm making an elite piece of theater and it's going to be so good. It's just, recipe for disaster.
Yeah, and plus you don't want to hang out with that person at 4 a.m. and you're like definitely gonna have, you have to hang out with that person at 4 a.m. So
Yes. Are you
better choose wisely.
I was gonna say, are you an inspiration comes in the middle of the night kind of writer?
Sometimes. I mean,
Yeah.
it comes when it comes. It hasn't come in a while, to
So
be
true.
honest. But
So true.
yeah, I'd take it at time, 4 a.m., 7 a.m., whatever. If it wants to come, I'm like ready. But
Yes.
yeah, definitely middle. I love working at night. I love the feeling of like being the only person awake and it's just me and my music.
Yeah. No, I
You know.
love that
So,
too. And
mhm.
such a feeling like you make something in the stillness of night, like no one's around, it's just you making something, then you like go to bed and there's a thing that exists now that didn't exist before.
Yeah,
So
it's a good feeling. Better than trying to work in the morning for me, at least.
mm,
That's for sure.
no,
Yeah.
no, I know some folks who can like set an alarm, wake up and write. I'm like, wow.
I no, I only know how to write in like chaos. It's truly every time I try to implement some kind of structure, it doesn't go well. So sometimes it's in the middle of the night, sometimes it's in the middle of the day.
Yes,
Sometimes it's COVID and you go many months without it at all. But yeah.
yes. Oh, I have one COVID question for you. I was thinking if you could go back and talk to yourself right before the first lockdown, if you could give yourself a talking to and a bit of advice before going into what we are in now, what would you tell yourself?
These are hard hitting questions, Kelsey.
Take them however you like.
I would say um be patient with yourself. I think I spent the first chapter trying to figure out what everyone else's rhythm was and trying to match that, seeing
Mhm.
people who were managing to be so productive where like
Yeah.
it was different on everyone and took a different shape in everyone's body. And I think at the beginning, because I kind of didn't know, there was no like manual and I
Yeah.
didn't really know what to expect or what was going on. I was looking around me at other people for what it was supposed to look like and what I was supposed to be doing and how I was supposed to be feeling. And I think the thing we've all learned this year is that it's going to be a different and mysterious for everyone, and your feelings won't stay consistent, and what you have the capacity for won't stay consistent, and that's okay. And you're not doing it wrong, and
Mm,
to just be a little bit, I think, a little bit more patient with myself at the beginning would have helped. Yes. What would
same.
you say?
Yeah, probably something similar. Right before the pandemic, I was actually living in China and I was evacuated when this was all happening with the full idea that I was going to go back to China anytime. Like this was over, I was going to go back. Like, okay, in the meantime, got to do as much as I can possibly do and make all the things. And now I have the time. I might as well do this project I haven't done and record this album I haven't made yet and do this and do this. And then you get so tired. I got so tired. And I really resonate with there's no one right way to do it. And also, I would maybe tell myself, like, get excited about the fact you'll learn new things that bring you joy, or new ways to make art, or new things outside of new imaginings of what your life can be outside of the path that you thought was pretty sure. Because now I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know what's going to happen, but it could go a lot of ways, and that's exciting. But who knows, you know?
Yeah. And I think I tell myself that like at the beginning it was so much loss back to back to back for everyone. I mean, you're moving home from China and it's, a different project canceled every day
Yep.
uh and I would say to me, young Britta, that are new things that will grow in that place. That's
Mm,
different than what you would expect. That aren't going to be the same thing that like gave your life value or value that gave you your sense of purpose before. It might be something different, but there will be something. Just like
mm,
be patient.
mm. I love
Mm.
that so deeply. It makes me wonder. I'm like, I feel like universe, if you're listening, like what's something that you hope for yourself to happen when we can gather again? What is something you'd like the universe to take into account for you?
Like I keep thinking about what it's going to be like when we press go and when we're in the rehearsal hall for Kelly v. Kelly finally, and it's finally
Yeah.
happening. Say that might be my first project out the gate, and
Mm,
sometimes I can ruin a process for myself by being too hard on myself and on it, and not
mm,
like kind of
mm.
flying up my butt about maybe it's not going to be perfect. But I hope I carry like like I don't even care what the product is. I just want to be in the room again. Like I want to be like
Uh,
connected to that sense of purpose, and I hope I remember that so that maybe there's another version of me that's a more generous collaborator on the other side of this, that doesn't shut down as easily, that doesn't like create out of fear as quickly, that like might just be able to live in the gratitude a little bit longer and maybe see what comes out of that. Like I hope. I say that now, but it's like easy to say when you're sitting at your house. It's harder to say when there's like work to be done and you aren't satisfied with it yet. But I want to carry that in with me and like carry in what like this sense of like, my whole career went up in smoke this year for sure. Like it doesn't exist anymore. And
yeah.
I still have value and am important to people. and
Yeah.
and actually like I thought my life was like this tower built on this one thing that's like my career basically, and that went away and it didn't topple. Like actually what I've built is a network of things that give my life meaning and a network of people that give my life meaning. And so like if I can remember that and stay grounded in that, perhaps creating won't feel as scary. It won't feel, even though I'll take it seriously, and this it won't be the thing that
Mhm.
I might be able to do with more ease. That was a long answer. What's your answer?
Britta, that was so special. You are so amazing. I love talking to you, and you say the most wonderful things. And I'm like, yeah, yeah. Mm.
I'm having a great time too, so I'm glad.
Oh,
What's your answer to that question?
mm, mm. Yeah, I think gratitude, and also, yeah, less precious about the projects and their so-called quality. More, I love that piece about I'm just happy to be in the room. Like I just want to be in the room again. And it's so true. Like that wild joy of we're here, so anything we make is a freaking plus. Like that's awesome. And how lovely to be with people, to like feel them and be making things. I
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we really need each other. Like it's amazing, like and kind of profound the ways in which we've still managed to like we seek each other out in these compromised settings. How much we actually really need each other is very beautiful. It means that maybe us to be together again.
Yes. I'm thinking about how I don't know if you did this, but I feel like there was a stage of pandemic where we all were like, I have to learn how to do every single one of the skills so I can do every single thing. I got to teach myself this and this and this and this and this and this so I don't need anybody because I'm alone in this pandemic. And now it's like, holy moly, I can't wait until we can be together because we do need each
Yeah.
other. We rich in each other so deeply.
Yeah. And like Zoom collaboration.
Nope.
No, that ain't it. It ain't it. I don't want to pretend that's it.
No, I don't know how to write a musical over Zoom. It's so difficult. Workshopping music. mm, No.
No, 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 no. It's no good. So I look forward to the other side of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of like I'm Paprika and you talking about that being foundational kind of and then building upwards. And I feel that for myself as well. And I'm like, maybe this is also a stage that's giving us another something to bring forward. I'm wondering are there any things you would like to share with the Paprika community or anything you'd like to draw forward from your experience? Anything Paprika related you want to put in the space?
Just that I think it's really important. I think
I
it's a
agree.
really thing. Like,
Yeah.
and I think we've had this year of really valuable reckoning in this industry. And I don't
Yeah.
know what it's gonna look like on the other sad. I don't know that anybody does, but I think when I engage in conversations about what we might imagine for it, it kind of resembles the things I love about Paprika, like in the space that it creates without kind of compromising like that, like excellence, and that what we really need are good stories, and that is the top priority. But that doesn't have to compromise the process or the way we treat each other in that process, or who feels safe in a room. Like it's kind of a pretty cool template for what we might imagine and like how we might grow new ideas. Like it always has been, like it's always been there doing the thing that we're talking about trying to do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think it's a valuable place to turn to for what it might look like on the other side. Everyone's under 21. No. If you're over 21,
like by stop creating
there anymore.
You're done.
Sorry. Over the hill. No, but you know what I mean about it. Yeah. Create together. Amazing work comes out of this festival. So
true.
That's good. The proof's in the pudding, as they say.
I know. Oh, you're making me think about how maybe we just need more growing at all the stages. Like maybe we get less fixed. Always need new ideas, new stories, lots of love surrounding your process, lots of support. My values can be carried forward. Because I'm like, there's a bit of a feeling of you should get more independent as you go and you get more polished and more like, but really no.
No, you just get better at existing in a community, I think, probably. I think that also that creation doesn't have to be a singular and private, like you don't have to be alone in it either. Even if you're not creating in collaboration, that there is community available to you that can be a reason is another thing that Paprika taught me. Like I was writing alone, but you're never really writing alone, you know?
No.
No one is alone, as Stephen would say.
No one is alone. Yeah, come on. Okay, that brings us. I love. I don't know if anyone told you this in our writing for musical theater class. After we saw Life After, we went through and did a walk for Sondheim allusions and Sondheim references because we're nerds. We went through and we're like, oh, I think this was a reference to a Sondheim song. Oh, I think so too, and I think this was a reference. And we're like, oh, wow. Little third years.
I hope they were all ones I did on purpose and not just copying.
Oh, no. Definitely intentional. We were just in awe.
Good.
Like, look at that. From you're not a singer-songwriter, Britta, to us analyzing your music in a freaking writing music theater class. How cool.
I'm honored by that. I'll think about that story next time I'm staring into the dark abyss of my no ideas at the moment. So
yes. Isn't that funny? Sometimes when you write, you're like, I've never written anything. I'll never write anything again. And then it comes.
Yeah, you forget that you've ever been capable of it. There's nothing like a blank page to make you feel incapable.
Yes.
Wonder if that feeling will ever go away. I think no.
I think no.
Maybe it doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well.
I'm liking this thought that it's like an act of courage every time you write, act of bravery, and also an act of community to get there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, definitely.
Britta, that brings us to our final question.
That was 20? No.
I think I fudged some of them. Oh, wait, no, these ones are good. I have to ask you this. What's a trend that you just can't get behind?
I don't understand TikTok at all. I feel lonely when I look at it. There's so many memes I don't understand. I think it's probably good. Like, people like it. I just don't understand it. So I don't know if the word is not like, it's that it's the first, it makes me feel like maybe pop culture isn't for me anymore, which makes me feel old.
Pop culture.
That and if low rise pants are coming back, I'm going on strike. Like, everyone, also on TikTok, it just seems like all anyone's talking about is pants, and I don't like anything that they're saying about what pants I'm supposed to be wearing. And I can't follow it. They don't know what pants to buy, and if low rise is back, I don't know what to do about that. So, did that answer your question?
It's amazing. Put it in the press release. Low rise pants? What? TikTok? What?
What's going on there? We can't have that. No. Anyway, next question.
Next question. What is a piece of media that you could talk about for hours? First thing that comes to mind.
Okay, like, I'm really obsessed with the show The View. And not in a, like, I can't even tell what angle I take. I don't think it's necessarily a force of good, and I don't think it's a quality program, but I can't look away, and I could talk about it forever. And it's been this really interesting way to take in the crisis of this year. Like, it's through this like pastel paradise funhouse of like, we're going to talk about if like Russia was involved in the election, and then the next topic will be like, should men be allowed to wear sandals with no socks? Like, it's a wild show, and I love it. And I could talk about it forever, and I do talk about it too much. I've received that feedback from people in my life. I also wrote a musical about it this year, so maybe I'm losing my mind. It's possible to say. Or maybe this is successful aging, that you like go from like understanding TikTok to immediately just like nestling in front of your television for like The View every day live at 11 a.m. Listen to the ladies tell you how to live.
Yes.
I could talk about it forever.
Yeah.
I have a lot to say.
Okay, next interview, we'll talk about The View exclusively. No theater, just The View.
You'll regret it. You're gonna regret it. Do you have an answer to that question?
Oh, I'm a nerd for a cappella music, like just a nerd. So I know way too much about a cappella bands and about turning pop songs into a cappella arrangements. Like, it's so not interesting to anybody. And I'm like, listen to this. You hear this bass line? This would be like a dum, dum, dum. Like, can you hear that? Can you? I'm that person, which people are just like, oh, yeah, cool. Like, do you hear this new band that just came out in like America? This one, and people are like, okay. Thank you. That's enough. Thank you.
You have to hear this a cappella cover of Uptown Funk.
I'm like, but no, don't listen to the melody. Can you hear this guitar sound happening? Like that, that's G. And people are like, Kels, okay. Thank you. That's mine. Oh,
Really It's a really funny answer. I say as somebody who said The View, so we can toast to our answers.
Cheers. Cheers on that. Yikes. Well, we kind of talked about this, but did you have like a big role model growing up who kind of...
Oh, so many. Like, I mean, my parents, and then, you know, I was really lucky to, when I was in high school, like get linked up with Leslie Arden, who taught me so much about lyric writing when I was really young. And Reza Jacobs really changed my world through Paprika. And Robert McQueen continues to be a force in my life. My sisters, my friends, like, yeah, I feel like there's like been a million generous forces guiding me. So yeah, I don't have one, but there's a lot. And
no, I love,
and you know, young and in theater, like like I was really lucky to have a lot of really artists, like, you know, help me out and listen to my ideas and stuff. And that's a pretty powerful and life-changing thing when someone you're 16.
Yeah,
you know?
takes you seriously. Yeah.
Yeah, being taken seriously is really for sure.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Mm, mm, mm. Mm, mm, mm. Do you have one thing that made you who you are today or an experience that profoundly changed you? Is there a pivotal moment?
I don't know that there's one pivotal moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I think it's a winding road. Yeah, no,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I think being born third in line in the family I was born into
Ooh,
probably shaped me a lot.
love.
I was, yeah, born into this family of artists who I really admire, and that was the vibe at our house, and that certainly
Mm,
continues to be an inspiring and transformational force. But no, I don't know if I have a or a
mhm.
thing. Do
I,
you have like a an aha, like this is it, I've arrived?
oh, not really. Like maybe one of my most pivotal things, which is that when I decided to move to China, I was so excited, and then I got really scared because I was like, "Oh my God, I'm building a career, like all this is happening. Like, am I being a ding dong for flying to China?" I was going for a year, not making theater. And like part of me was like, this is very important. Like, go live in a bigger world. But I'm like, oh no, am I not an artist for doing this? Like, I don't know. And I had a teacher who was like, oh my God, stop. And said to me, you are an artist because of the lens through which you see the world, the way you experience the world, you do it as an artist. So like that cannot be taken from you. It doesn't matter what you're doing, like you will continue to receive the world as an artist. And it took me a while to get it, but that I hold that as a profoundly freeing moment because then anything could happen. But I also don't know if
Mm.
I have a singular moment where, oh, okay, great, got it.
I'm waiting for that moment when it'll be like, got it.
Yeah, let us know.
I got it now. You know? What
Done.
were you doing in China?
I was volunteering in teaching English in a school up north. It was like a call for English teachers, and I was like, maybe, okay, sounds good. So I like went and I taught English and I also like did some music. The students had a rock band and all they wanted to play was Guns N' Roses. Like that's what they loved. Was Guns N' Roses. And so we sang so much Guns N' Roses. And they all had electric guitars and like, and then sometimes they would play some of their own music and I'd bring some of my own music. I had a moment of like, oh my God, music is so even if we don't
We
all
all can music.
lyrics, you know, we all can music.
I feel like I would pay my life savings to be at that particular Guns N' Roses concert. I'm just saying, like that. I want a front row seat. Like that ticks a lot of boxes for me. So
Amazing.
I hope they're still doing it. I hope they're still rocking
Must be.
without your influence.
One day we'll go.
They must be.
They might. That was all them.
We'll go-
I just got to see
yeah,
BG2 on Sweet Child of Mine, so that was good for me.
amazing. Killer tune, honestly.
Okay. Freaking guitar riff. Come on. Too cool. Too
So
cool.
good. Too cool.
What else have we got here? No, we kind of did that. Oh, did I? I don't think I asked you this. I love this question too. What's a question that you hate being asked?
I don't like being asked what my favorite song is.
Oh,
That's an annoying
mhm,
question. I'm like, how do you experience the world? Do you have like, what's my favorite song today? I don't know. I don't like that question.
mhm.
And there's certain, ones I don't have a good answer for. So then I feel exposed. But I don't like being asked what I think about like contemporary opera because I don't have an answer. But people don't ask me that very much.
Okay, I'll just strike it off really quick.
Just get it out. Yeah.
Okay, final question. Finish this sentence. The future of theater is.
Exciting and yet unknown, but in a way that feels filled with possibility and healing
Hmm.
I don't know. What's your answer to that? I want to know what you'd say.
The future of theater is hopefully nothing I can imagine with what I know now.
It's exciting. I miss it so much.
I know. I know. Yeah.
Is important. It's important that,
Ah,
well, what am I doing with my hair?
yeah.
It's important.
Future of theater is important. Okay, Britta,
We did it.
we did
It's
it.
done.
Oh, what a joy. It was so lovely to talk to you. Like,
You too.